It's no secret that Souls and Souls-like games have the reputation of being challenging and requiring players to get good. This can be off-putting for gamers, making them hesitant to try or making them quit once they start. Elden Ring, for example, arguably the most accessible Souls game, was the most finished game in 2022. However, it was also the most quit game as well. And that doesn't surprise me one bit, but it really got me thinking, what are some big mistakes that gamers are potentially making that is causing them to quit? So I put together a list of what I feel could be the biggest mistakes that gamers are making when playing a Souls game for the first time. I hope you guys enjoy. Hit the like button if you do. Let's get into it. Number 1, and this is probably one we can all agree on, and that is that they get impatient. Basically, they rush, hoping to kill enemies as quickly as possible, and they end up dying more often than they should. They don't take the time to savor the combat, learn to time their attacks, and simply just don't read the enemies for what they are, just a big pile of patterns. Even worse, they hack and slash, which leads to even more deaths and ultimately builds towards frustration rather than skill. Attempting to just rush through enemies like it's an action game is definitely a mistake newcomers have made. I've always given the advice and expressed how I see Souls games as just reading the room, especially the first playthrough. This means approaching a new area slowly, taking note of where the enemies are and where they're facing, and then methodically taking them out. And that could mean a variety of different things depending on the situation. You might want to bait the enemies one by one, just so you're not overwhelmed. You might want to creep around to backstab one of them because their back is turned to you. Some situations require a bit more thought, so if you just run into a new area not knowing what is there, then attempt to just rush and hack and slash everything, you can really be caught with your pants down and just get destroyed.
I beg your pardon?
When it comes to these games, combat should be methodical as well, and for new players, this could be a lesson learned the hard way. Having that discipline and waiting for attacks is often the key, and new players sometimes struggle with that. They want to just hack and slash their way to victory when they should be slowing things down and remaining comfortable on the defensive, where they're going to have to block and dodge and then wait for windows to attack. This goes for bosses as well, and it's so important to learn, especially when you're playing for the first time, because these are lessons you will bring with you through your entire Soulsborne journey, no matter the game that you play. Number 2, they don't accept dying as part of the process. Oh man, I'm dead. In Soulsborne, it's more than okay to die, but some gamers just don't like to, and they feel as if dying is failure. Ultimately, they just don't want to fail. But it's all part of the process and what makes the successes even more sweeter. Let's fucking go! Woo! Each death is a lesson, and yes, it can be frustrating. I've been there. But beneath that frustration, there was always this desire within me to prove that I can do it. I would die and know exactly what I did wrong, and then I would do my best to not replicate that the next time. And then before I knew it, I improved. It really can be the best feeling if you let it. I have often heard gamers say that they work hard all day, they just want to come home and relax. I don't need a game pushing me in like this, they will say, and I get it, sort of. Not really, but that's because I understand and have accepted that dying is just part of it. And most of all, I was quick to appreciate the little victories early on, such as clearing an area after I died 5 times before, or when I made it to a bonfire by the skin of my teeth with barely any health. That was a success, and even something so small like that could really make me sleep good at night. It may take new players a while to understand that, but I think the sooner that they find joy in the little victories, they will start to appreciate these games even more and could even find them relaxing and fulfilling, especially after a long day of work. Those victories, big or small, can really turn a whole day around and make you feel accomplished. Number 3, they don't level up correctly or farm. Remember that a lot of these games are action RPGs after all. You can level up your character, your weapons, your armor, and even your magic in some of them. But someone new could easily overlook this and not understand what they are doing. And if they're not careful, they can really be in for a bad time and not be prepared for what's coming. For instance, they could equip heavy armor but aren't leveling up stamina or the equip load, so they're too heavy and they fat roll. It can be easy for beginners to overlook this stuff and just not really read what is going on when you do level up. Trust me, I've been there. Also, when it comes to farming, I'm not the biggest fan. Anybody who has ever watched me play a Souls game ever could tell you that. I will beat my head against the wall against a boss if I can, but at some point, if I feel like my character is just too weak, I will have to stop what I'm doing, go out there back into the areas and go farm and level up so I'm stronger. It just be like that sometimes. So if you're easily frustrated by the boss fights, you're getting one-shot killed, your character is super weak, it's best to just go out there, do some farming, come back, and then you'll have an easier time. Number 4, they don't read and utilize the items and tools that are given to them. I was the biggest culprit of this at first. I pretty much beat Bloodborne and Dark Souls 2, my first Souls, without reading much of the items at all. You know the beast pellets in Bloodborne? Yeah, I never used them. Imagine if I actually used it. I probably wouldn't have had such a rough time my first go around. Reading the items is not only interesting for lore purposes, but these items can actually make your experience easier. Elden Ring especially is a game that will punish you if you do not use your tools. And it's part of the reason we look at Elden Ring as the most accessible, because there are so many tools for us to use. Not until I played a few of these games did I really realize that it's best to look at my items, see what's going on, see what I could use to my benefit, because why not? They're just gonna sit there, so you might as well use them. And last but not least, and this just kind of ties everything together, it's the fact that they give up too fast, when barely scratching the surface and dying just a few times, because of the reasons I mentioned before, or simply because a boss got the best of them. They just flat out give up. There could be a variety of reasons for this, and maybe some really good ones too. Maybe these games just aren't for them, and that's totally fine. But for those who genuinely want to like Souls games, and then they just get too frustrated and quit, and then swear them off for good, I think if they just tried a bit more, beat their first boss, and really gave it a solid chance, they could start to say to themselves, okay, I get it. And then it just clicks in their brain, gives them that adrenaline rush, and then they understand what we've been so crazy about and why we love that feeling so much. The Souls formula could really grow on them at that point, and then maybe they might even start to fall in love a little bit, but they'll never know unless they get there. And if they avoid these mistakes that we just talked about, I really feel that gives them a strong chance to get there. You just gotta do it. So yeah, that's my video for now. There's so many other reasons, so many other mistakes that we could talk about. I actually took to Twitter to ask my followers what they think, and they gave me a bunch of great answers that I want to go through on my next follow-up video. But if you would like to add your input here on the channel in the comments, please do so. The more, the merrier. And I love hearing from you guys on this stuff. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you in my next video. All right, take care. Bye.